Welcome to From Beneath the Hollywood Sign. If you love old movies, Hollywood history, or the golden age of filmmaking, this is the podcast for you. Hosted by writer-producer Steve Cubine and actress-writer Nan McNamara. And now, Steve and Nan.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another preview of our podcast, From Beneath the Hollywood Sign. So, Steve, this week's episode is entitled, I'm not going to give away the name of the person we're going to talk about. I'm just going to give the category, Hollywood's Original Bad Boy.
Bad boy. Yeah, we love a good Hollywood bad boy, don't we?
Don't we? We love it. We love a good bad boy in general.
There's so many good ones. And there's even bad boys that are good boys, like Robert Mitchum and people like that, you know?
Yes.
But, there's so many really good bad boys, to talk about that, we decided to talk about some that we don't really get to in the podcast.
Right. So how about this? How about if I throw up a photograph and we just talk about this person?
Sure.
All right. The first one, I think you
Bad
know
boy.
this guy.
My absolute favorite bad boy, Dan Duryea, who probably deserves his own podcast, but he was just such the smiling weasel in so many great movies.
So what's the top movie that you think of with him?
I think he did two movies with Fritz Lang that are just iconic. It was Scarlet Street and also Woman in the Window. And incidentally, they both had the very same cast. Both movies starred Edward G. Robinson, Joan Bennett, and Duryea. Different
Wow.
stories and different themes, but he is bad to the bone. And he's also really, really great in Crisscross with Burt Lancaster and Yvonne DiCarlo, and Too Late for Tears with Elizabeth Scott, where he kind of slaps her around a little bit, which actually Duryea had the reputation for slapping a lot of women on screen. So,
Wow.
bad boy.
He is a bad boy. Well, this is actually from Crisscross, and yeah, anybody who's sweating like that is a bad boy, right?
He's up to no good.
He's definitely up to no good. All right, the next two guys, we were chatting about this before we started recording. I think it's so interesting that in films, they were bad boys, but then they both went on to have television careers where they were the good guy.
Yeah, they totally rehabilitated their reputations for TV.
They really did. Here's the first one.
Yes, William Conrad. He was always the bad guy. And the first movie that comes to mind is The Killers, which I think was 1946 with Burt Lancaster and Ava Gardner. He is the henchman who's come to town to kill the Swede, played by Burt Lancaster. Just so bad. So he just even has this shadowy look to him that just, is bringing trouble to this town. And I love that he went on, to TV to play, Cannon, who was
Exactly.
Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah, he was a good guy.
Yeah.
Now this one is particularly interesting too, because I think for the first time I saw this film that he's in, I thought, wait a minute, he's playing a bad guy. I just had known him from television. And I love this photograph from this film.
Oh, what a great photo. And of
Isn't
course, that is Raymond Burr, everyone's favorite attorney, Perry Mason. But before he was Perry Mason, he could be a pretty horrible person.
Yes, he could. And this is from Rear Window, of course, where he plays the ultimate bad guy.
Oh, talk about bad. Chop your wife up and take her out in suitcases. So not what you expect. And Della Street would not be happy with this.
She would definitely not be happy.
No. But I love that those two guys who were just supporting character actors who mostly played the heavies ended up being huge stars on TV, playing these very heroic, guys with integrity. So you can
Right.
see their reputation.
We always think that Hollywood stereotypes, and yet there are times when they can turn it around. So.
Yeah.
Now, we haven't given the big reveal, though, of who our episode is going to be about. Do you want to say?
Well, our episode, and he's just one of my favorite actors, bad or not, and it's Steve Cochran, which some people may not be familiar with him, but probably a B movie actor at best. Although he made some really great A movies that he was had smaller roles in, like White Heat and The Best Years of Our Lives. But he just had this charisma and this sexiness and this broodiness that was just palpable. It really showed through the screen, and yeah, it made him a really interesting character. But the best thing about Cochran was his personal life was just as dramatic and chaotic and crazy as the characters he played on film and TV.
It definitely was, and we're not gonna give any of that away. You're gonna have to listen to the episode to find out.
For sure, learn a little bit more about Bad Boy Steve Cochran. But anyway, you can see this episode. It drops Sunday at midnight, and we hope you'll tune in.
You
So
can listen wherever you get your podcasts.
absolutely. Well, that's it for us. Thanks for checking it out.